all of this time. Him, people in his camp, his close ones, loved ones, everybody talking about he wants to play football. He wants to play football. He's ready to play. Just give him the chance. So what does the NFL do? Recognizing that teams need a shield because they need something to hide behind, because they know that, guess what? If we bring this brother in for a workout and we don't like him or we don't want him, who knows what we're going to get accused of? We need cover. So the NFL provides that. I have no doubt Jay-Z's involved. I have no doubt Roger Goodell is involved. I have no doubt there's a host of people involved, but forget all of that. This man wanted a chance. 25 teams show up in Georgia at the Atlanta Falcons practice facility, state-of-the-art facility, NFL personnel, equipment, everything, video, everything. And what does Colin Kaepernick do? Not Tuesday when he found out about it, not Wednesday, not Thursday, not Friday, Saturday. 3 hours before the workout. Because of some issue with a liability waiver. Colin Kaepernick wants to change the venue. Colin Kaepernick wants his own receivers. Colin Kaepernick wants to video things himself. Colin Kaepernick wants the media. This Colin Kaepernick, media can't find him. He ain't done no interviews. He ain't talked to nobody. Media can't find him, but he wants to do anything. He wants the media available now. You see? He don't want to play. He wants to be a martyr. But guess what? It ain't working this time. All of us believe that Colin Kaepernick would have showed out. And if he had showed out, I'm here to tell you, I believe he would have had a job inside of 2 weeks. But it didn't happen because he didn't show. He wanted to show up to a high school in Georgia. Not an NFL facility, a high school. And then YouTube it live. Like the average Joe out there gets to decide if he's on the NFL roster. You don't want to work. You just want to make noise. And you want to control the narrative. It's over. Colin Kaepernick's aspiration in the NFL. For an NFL career. It's over.
The Rewind
Sports 60. From the city of big shoulders, the jewel of the Midwest, comes a sports show that's one of a kind. From iconic players to iconic stadiums to iconic teams, this is my kind of town. Chicago! And the Rewind Sports 60 is my kind of show. From Air Jordan to Sweetness to Papa Bear Hallis, this city works hard, but plays even harder. Danny Carlino and Jerry Riles bring you the Rewind Sports 60. Live. The Rewind Sports 60 starts now.
Let me start by saying I appreciate y'all coming out. That means a lot to me. Our biggest thing with everything today was making sure we had transparency of what went on. We weren't getting that elsewhere, so we came out here. It's important that y'all are here. Y'all been attacked for the last 3 years. Y'all continue to be attacked. We appreciate what y'all do. We appreciate you being here today. We appreciate the work you do for the people and telling the truth. That's what we want in everything. I've been ready for 3 years. I've been denied for 3 years. We all know why I came out here, showed it today in front of everybody. We have nothing to hide. So we're waiting for the 32 owners, the 32 teams, Roger Goodell, all of them to stop running. Stop running from the truth. Stop running from the people. We're out here. We're ready to play. We're ready to go anywhere. My agent, Jeff Nally, is ready to talk to any team. I'll interview with any team at any time. I've been ready. I'm staying ready. And I'll continue to be ready. And to all the people that came out here today to support, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. To the people that aren't here, I'm thinking of you. I appreciate you supporting from where you are. We'll continue to give you updates as we hear. We'll be waiting to hear from Roger Goodell, the NFL, the 32 teams. We'll let you know if we hear from them. Ball's in their court. We're ready to go.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. We're streaming live on Facebook Live in the fastest hour of sports conversation in the greatest city in the world. That, of course, Chicago, Illinois, on the north side in Jefferson Park. This is the Rewind Sports 60, our Gale Street and Bears Sunday Live pregame show. The Bears, in about an hour or so, getting ready to kick off against the L.A. Rams out in La La Land, and the Bears are looking to see if they can continue or start a new winning streak after the 20-13 victory over the Detroit Lions yesterday in Chicago. Folks, the fastest hour in sports conversation. It's Jerry Riles, and let's get right to it. He's the one. He's the only. He's driving in from downstate. He's the marvelous one. He's Dan Marver. What's up, Danny?
It's great to be in the studio, Jerry. Good to see you, Marty. It's a lot easier than when I'm in the car driving at 70 miles per hour when my daughter's birthday is on hand and I have to meet her up with her. So this is much better. And by the way, Colin Kaepernick, don't sit by the phone waiting, because you will not be getting a call. Actually, this week, I think the Myles Garrett story was far more interesting than Colin Kaepernick.
Well, that was very interesting and well, and we'll hope to get an opportunity to talk about it, folks. If you want to jump in, our number here is 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. And ladies and gentlemen, I always tell you this gentleman, he could be up in Zion. He could be actually in Wisconsin. He may be in Rockford. He could be downstate in Peoria. He could be in Champaign. He could be in Elmhurst. He could be in Elk Grove. He could be downtown Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, he's in the studios of WCPT right here in Jefferson Park. He is the man. He's the one. He's the only. He's the man on the street. He's Marty-B. What's up, Marty?
Hello, Jerry and Dan. Good to have you with us. And sorry, Dan, you had to miss that 21-point win by DePaul over Cornell yesterday.
Well, I saw a good game today, a 2-point loss by Illinois State to Central Florida. Much better game.
Oh, okay. And ladies and gentlemen, and we'll get to it a little bit later once we get through some of our other conversation, but I had a marvelous day yesterday. I had to figure out which games I was going to go to. I was way up north for the Prairie Ridge Cary Grove game, and then I headed down south to 99th and Pulaski for the Brother Rice ball game.
Oh, wow.
In Manuka. So I had a busy day, met great people, and had a chance to talk a lot about the Rewind Sports 60.
There you go. Thank you, Marty-B. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation. We got a lot on tap, and those sounds you heard from Stephen A. Smith, of course, his opinion regarding the Colin Kaepernick workout that took place yesterday, and of course you heard Colin Kaepernick himself with his post-workout comments, and I got to tell Stephen A. Smith, Stephen A., if you're listening, I think you're kind of wrong on this one, brother. I think you're kind of wrong on this one. And I thought it was the NFL that actually moved the location site to the high school. I believe Colin Kaepernick and his team, they were ready to go. And then 15, 20 minutes to go, they were informed, from my understanding, that we moved it 60 miles away. You got to go over to the high school and work out. So Stephen A. Smith, and regardless of the fact, if Colin Kaepernick and his team elected to go work out at this high school, and Colin wanted his own receivers to work out with, and then he sent it out on YouTube, God bless him and all the glory to him. Why? Because the NFL last week throw this whole workout thing at him and say, hey, listen, we're going to set this workout out for you on Saturday, and you got to be there. And Colin Kaepernick and his team were caught off guard and go, hey, wait a minute. Roger Goodell, hey, you 32 owners, wait a minute. And a lot of the owners didn't even know about this, the proposed workout. There are owners, the Kansas City Chiefs didn't know anything about the workout. But the NFL and Roger Goodell go, hey, you know what? You're working out on Saturday. That's it. If you don't get another shot. They go, wait a minute. Tuesdays, that's the day that free agents come in to work out. The players have the day off. Why don't we do it on Tuesday? Nope. Can't do it on Tuesday. Okay, then move it back next Saturday. Move it back to next Saturday. Nope. Can't do it. If you don't show up, that's all she wrote. So if Colin Kaepernick and his team called for this to be moved to a high school where he can work out with his personal receiver, Stephen A. Smith, God bless him, because the NFL, they're not doing him any justice. And I disagree with you as well as far as the opportunity to play in the National Football League. Because did you see that game on Thursday night between the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers? Yes. Did you see the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he isn't unconscious again. He had a protocol for being, when he was out 4 weeks ago.
Marvelous. Yes, exactly. Marvelous. I think he was still under concussion protocol because the number of interceptions that he threw in that game, he was horrific.
Yeah, well,
he was terrible.
He was the number 1 draft pick, and they were wondering why with Roethlisberger on the team, but the Roethlisberger got hurt, and now he's probably still concussed.
Yeah, he's probably still concussed. So even before the shenanigans took place with 8 seconds to go in the football game on the 9-yard lines with the Cleveland Browns winning, even despite that, this kid, Rudolph, he's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The guy was terrible. He was horrific. And so the workouts, as far as Colin Kaepernick is concerned, what he was able to do, he's absolutely right. I don't necessarily like the way he addressed in his post-game workout, but he's absolutely right. The ball is in the court of Roger Goodell and the 32 owners in the National Football League. It's in their court. And Pittsburgh, I said it even before the whole melee took place on Thursday night. I said the Pittsburgh Steelers should be the front runners. They should be the front runners in handing out an invitation to Colin Kaepernick and bringing him into camp.
Well, the Roonies are not known for being very tolerant of misbehavior, so I'm not sure that'll work out.
I'm going to disagree with you, Marvelous.
The Roonies?
Why? Because did you see the misbehavior on Thursday night with that quarterback they have?
But there was no. I'm talking about people with a record of kneeling for the national anthem.
Hey, he's got a record for sure. That Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, he's got a record, that's for sure. It's not a very good one either, though.
Well, he could have been killed too with what Miles did to him.
Yeah, he could have been killed, but the interesting thing about that as well, because you haven't heard anything about that. These 3 players got suspended in that football game. Pouncey for kicking him in the head. He was kicking Myles Garrett in the head, but you haven't heard anything about the quarterback. And he instigated the entire thing, Marty-B.
No, and Jerry, I appreciate you bringing that up because this is something I'm not aware of. True, I didn't see, except for maybe the last couple of minutes of the game, but all this went by me as maybe it did some of our listeners because those games are kind of late.
Well, this has been the big news, Marty, since Thursday night. It's been all over the newspapers, the radios. It's been all over social media. So if anybody is unaware of this story, either they don't care anything about sports, or as the old saying goes, they have their head stuck in the sand.
So you're saying,
I know I'm a bit controversial, but I'm right. It all went over my head, and that's that.
So you're saying, Jerry, that it's Rudolph's fault that he was hit in the head with his own helmet?
Is that
what you're saying?
Yeah, it is. I'm basically saying it's his fault that he got clubbed upside the head because if he's not going after Myles Garrett, if he's not trying to pull his helmet off after I thought was a clean football hit on the last play of the game, I don't see any reason. And listen, he had a terrible game. He's the quarterback. Defensive ends, defensive specialists, they say, the old saying goes, I'll meet you at the quarterback. And that's what they did.
Right. I mean, it did look as though there was something going on with Rudolph and reaching into the helmet of Miles. So I'm not sure exactly what went on there, but there's no excuse for clubbing somebody in the head with a helmet. Well, there's no excuse whatsoever.
There's no excuse. I totally agree with you, and I don't condone the action by Myles Garrett. I certainly don't condone it. But we had an opportunity yesterday at Ciarinello's during our Saturday tailgate show to talk to former Bear defensive end Alex Brown, and I asked him the question, what did you think of the entire melee and fiasco that took place? And he said, I really, and I'm just paraphrasing, basically he said, I don't know why people are getting in such an uproar regarding this. He said, this sort of thing happens all the time, from the high school level to the collegiate level, and of course in pro football. He said helmets have been used as weapons in practices, and you guys remember, back in the day with the Dickas and the Bears in, what did they do? Where did they practice up in Wisconsin, Platteville? Yeah. I mean, the two-a-days, the type of scrums that they would have on two-a-days in preseason, in camp, he said that, he doesn't condone it either. Yeah. But he said, these sort of things happen often. They happen often.
Well, not in a league game on national TV, and the punishment for Myles Garrett is he's done for the year. So I think that speaks for itself.
Well, he's obviously the players' union is going to appeal on his behalf, and the other players who are suspended as well. I understand the National Football League and Roger Goodell, they have to come down and set a standard as far as what is expected on the football field, but. I think that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is getting off a little bit. What did he get? Did he get fined or something?
The team got fined. He didn't get fined at all.
See, and I know typically when you retaliate, the person retaliating usually get the harsher penalty. That's the society that we live in. But you can't tell me, and I don't justify him getting hit upside the head with a helmet. I certainly don't justify that. But you can't tell me the league that you're looking at the film and you see they're on the ground and he's trying to rip the helmet off. Have you ever heard, any of you gentlemen ever had a helmet ripped off your head?
No.
It hurts like heck.
I bet it does.
Because the players, and if you're looking on Facebook Live, I have the headphones on, right? I have the headphones on. When players take off their helmets, they unstrap it, and they separate it at the ears, like so, and they pull it off. Like that.
Okay, well, let's hear from Garrett himself. I made a terrible mistake. I lost my cool, and what I did was selfish and unacceptable. I know that we are all responsible for our actions, and I can only prove my true character through my actions moving forward. I want to apologize to Mason Rudolph, my teammates, our entire organization, our fans, to the NFL. I know I have to be accountable for what happened, learn from my mistakes, and I fully intend to do so. I think that's a mission of guilt. And I mean, even if the guy had maybe Rudolph's got caught in his helmet. I don't know.
Maybe. Marty.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. Were you?
No, I wasn't there, but I was watching the game and I saw the video replay. And if any of you, Marty-B, if you haven't seen the video replay in its entirety, take a look at it. And Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is trying to rip the guy's helmet off. And it's a heat of the moment. It's the last play of the game. Cleveland had the game under wraps. There's no reason, there's no excuse to do that.
To do anything.
In Garrett's statement, he doesn't say that he was worried about his helmet being pulled off. I've not seen that anywhere.
Well, of course not. He's not going to say, hey, my helmet is being ripped off, so I had to rip his helmet off and beat him upside the head. Why would he say something like that? That's ridiculous.
Well, it would be some kind of defense, and maybe you'll see a court case, too.
But let me ask you, you won't see a court case.
That Rudolph's agent says you might.
No, you're not going to see a court case. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer needs to come out and say, I apologize for my antics. I apologize for what I did on the football field. That's what he needs to do. You're not going to see any legal action. It's a violent sport. These guys wear equipment for a reason. They're trained to assault another individual. That's what it is. They're not going to see any legal actions. That's ridiculous.
I agree to disagree. You might see it in the Ukrainian transcript.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to jump in, our number here is 773-763-WCPT.
Now you're below the belt there.
773-763-9278. It's yours truly, Jerry Riles, along with the marvelous one, Dan Marver, and the man on the street, Marty-B. We got to say, we want to say thank you to Gale Street Inn for the fabulous food that they've delivered on this Gale Street Inn Bears Sunday Live pregame show. George, all of the wait staff over there, fantastic. The food, the jambalaya, delicious. The linguine with the chicken, it's off the charts. It is fabulous. Folks, if you've never been over to Gale Street Inn, in the north side of Chicago in Jefferson Park, right down the street on Milwaukee Avenue from the studios, make sure to get on over there. Make sure to get on over there.
Absolutely. It was worth driving 200 miles for.
Yes.
And don't forget, on Monday evening, a wonderful 20% discount on your rib dinner. If you don't pick up the rib quick enough and get it to your mouth, it's going to fall on the plate.
Oh, no, there's no question about it. There's no question about it. And we have to say hello to our good friend Mark, the magician. He's over there. He's over there now. I tried to get a chance to go over to him and say hello, but he was busy doing some magic at some of the tables over there at Gale Street Inn. So hopefully, Mark, if you're listening, I just want to say hello to you. Incidentally, there will not be a TR60 scoreboard update. Unfortunately, there will not be one tonight because Gabe Salgado, he's under the weather. He has the flu. So unfortunately, he won't be able to join us. He was going to go to the United Center where the Blackhawks are in business, and he was going to be doing his updates from there, but unfortunately, because of the flu bug, Gabe Salgado is at home. And he actually elected to do the updates from home. I go, Gabe,
That was very sporting.
Okay, let's go to a TR60 scoreboard update. Gabe, at home. Take it away, buddy. Gabe, that's a little bit unprofessional. Yeah, you don't handle things like that.
I do stuff from out of the studio.
What?
I admire his spirit.
I admire it,
You can
too.
tell he's a guy that's all for the Rewind Sports 60.
There you go, and congratulations to the Blackhawks on their 7-2 victory over the Predators last night. That was much needed win, and they're above 500. Marvelous one.
Yeah, they
yes,
are.
and Jerry, I know you were a little bit, and with good reason, being a little bit pessimistic about the new coaching administration, but seems like the kinks are getting worked out.
Well, it's a long season, Marty.
Oh,
and,
yes.
and some of the core veteran players, they're kind of skeptical as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're trying to adjust to his philosophy. Mm-hmm. They like Joel Quenneville, the way that he handled things. Because, Marty, they said, under what Jeremy Culleton and what we're trying to learn through him, it's more of more thinking going on the ice. And as you well know, especially at the highest level, it's all about reacting. And they're trying to process this stuff on the ice, and the penalties that they've been hit with, too many men on the ice and not getting back on defense, and the shots on goal, that these goalies are taking, it's affecting the play on the ice. So there's still a long season to go, Marty. So we'll see how it goes.
They're playing, bracing me for that.
They're playing Buffalo tonight, and they're, the way that the league is, you get, 1 point for the tie and whatnot. I mean, they're in 6th place still, so they got a ways to go. In 6th place in the Central.
Yeah, it's a long season. So I mean, hopefully they can end the playoff drought and get back.
Yeah, they need to get to 4th. I mean, they're not too far away. They're
right.
The Stars are in 4th place and they're in 6th, so they could do it.
And Patrick Kane is starting to heat up, which this is the time of year.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's the time of year when he starts to carry the team.
I never thought that he and Taves would be like grizzled veterans. It's hard to believe.
Hey, Marvelous, they're like us. They're long in the tooth. And the other night, Jonathan Taves got into a scuffle. I'm like, really? But God bless him. But I think it shows a little bit of the frustration level as far as this team is concerned. But we'll certainly keep our eye on the Blackhawk all season long. Gabe Salgado will be your point man following the Chicago Blackhawks.
Wait a second.
Where'd that come from? The Black Sox. In 2019-2020. Again,
it's their anniversary year, Jerry.
Yeah, what is it, 1919?
I can see why you would think that. Oh, gosh.
I hadn't thought about that in I don't know how long.
It wasn't 1919. You're absolutely right.
It was 1919.
Years ago.
Bears conversation.
Seems like yesterday.
You guys girls want to jump in? Our number 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. We'll hopefully get an opportunity to talk with the good friends of the program out in Los Angeles who'll be attending to the Bear game. The Bears trying to see if they can get to a 2-game win streak after their victory last week against the lowly Detroit Lions. But the interesting thing about this game, and I'd love to hear what you two gentlemen have to say, Super Bowl bound and the LA. What a difference a year make, right?
Yeah.
What a difference a year make. The Bears are at 5-4, and the Rams are at 4-5, right, Marvelous?
Yeah, that's right. And the Bears are sitting at 4-5. And we've been talking about it, that they really are in a bad shape for the playoffs now, for sure. Well, but that 20-13 win, I mean, it was a nice win. It wasn't like super impressive, I must say.
And again, if the Lions, a couple of receivers, if they reel in some passes down the stretch, it could have been a different outcome.
And on the other hand, the Rams aren't exactly the Rams of last year either. They're only 5-4, like you were saying.
Yeah. So it's going to be they're tagging it as a battle of the defense. Yeah. Aaron Donald on the defensive side of the ball for the Rams, and of course Khalil Mack for our Chicago Bears. And it all comes down. We know the old cliche is the game is won in the trenches. It's won in the trenches. And we know how our offensive line has been struggling. We know how, with the exception of Kyle Long, who's out, these other guys have been underachieving for sure as far as the offensive line is concerned for the Chicago Bears. On the flip side, the offensive line for the LA Rams, they've been struggling as well. But their struggles are due more to the injury bug. So it's going to be interesting to see who wins the game in the trenches between these two teams.
That's true. A lot of times it doesn't mean anything to compare common opponents, but there is one. And the Rams defeated the Saints 27-9 this year, if that tells you anything. And I think it does.
No, I think it does as well. So if you want to jump in, feel free to give us a ring. Our number, 773-763-WCPT, 773-763-9278. When we come back, we'll go out to the left coast, talk to a good friend of the program. He's a correspondent for the Rewind Sports 60. My good friend.
I know who you're going to say.
Jimmy Bliss! Jimmy Bliss will be joining us on our TR60 hotline. Keep it locked in. We're going to take a short time out again. No TR60 scoreboard update. Gabe Salgado, El Mago, is under the weather. He has the flu bug. Going to take a short time out. Line it up. Talk some Bears, Rams, Sunday Night Football. You got the Rewind Sports 60. Lock it in.
Oh, that'll be a good.
You're watching the Rewind Sports 60. Go Bucks! Woo!
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout, so don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in.
The Rewind Sports 60 is brought to you by the Liquor Barn, located in Wheeling and Niles. Stop by 287 East Dundee Road in Wheeling or 8170 Gulf Road in Niles for all your wine and spirits needs. The Liquor Barn, located in Wheeling and Niles. And remember, tell Marcel and Tom in Wheeling that the Rewind Sports 60 told you to stop in and say hello. Mention the Rewind Sports 60 and receive a free gift.
Go, Ella!
Way to hustle, Jen.
Our daughters live for sports.
Hey, their dentist told them your smallest piece of equipment may be your most important.
Now they always wear mouth guards.
Yeah, mouth guards help protect against broken teeth, head injuries too, like concussions.
All from a little mouth guard.
They're small, but mighty.
Just like our kids.
Talk to a Chicago Dental Society dentist. Visit cds.org/mouthguard. Sponsored by the Chicago Dental Society, aired in cooperation with this station.
The Rewind Sports 60 is brought to you by Serenello's Ristorante Italiano. Inspired by his travels and passion for Italy's culture, executive chef Michael Bonner has created a broad menu of Italian fare, utilizing the freshest ingredients to create the fullest flavors to bring homemade, handcrafted pizzas and pastas, as well as prime steaks and fresh fish dishes to the table. Feel the energy while dining in a casual and rustic setting. Dine at natural reclaimed wood tables surrounded by inviting darker woods, exposed brick beams, subtle filament lighting, and accented with muted chocolate and caramel tones throughout. An impressive 50-foot bar lines an entire wall with seating for all. The perfect place to relax, eat, and drink with your family and friends. Serenello's Ristorante Italiano is located at 601 North Milwaukee Avenue in Wheeling. Tell them the Rewind Sports 60 told you to stop by.
Hi, I'm Liz Nicholson-Sullivan. As the wife of a 9-year NFL veteran suffering the long-term effects of untreated and undiagnosed head injuries, I know how dangerous concussions can be. The Concussion Legacy Foundation is a nonprofit dedicated to keeping kids safe in sports. Their Team Up, Speak Up program teaches kids to speak up to a coach or athletic trainer if they think their teammate might have a concussion. Whether you're a parent, coach, or athlete, you can make a difference. Join me and sign up at teamupspeakup.org.
The Rewind Sports 60 is sponsored by Bazaar World. Stop by Bazaar World in Niles, celebrating their grand opening with a huge sale. Hats, gloves, belts, rings, bracelets, necklaces, and much, much more. The largest jewelry and accessory store in the Chicagoland area. Bazaar World, located at 8526 West Gulf Road in Niles, near the corner of Milwaukee and Gulf. Bazaar World in Niles. Stop in and say hello to Alex. Mention the Rewind Sports 60 and receive a free gift.
If it's Chicago sports you want, you're in the right place.
Hello, Chicago!
The Rewind Sports 60.
That's the best in the city of Chicago.
Welcome back to the Rewind Sports 60 live with the best sports panel in Chicago. Lock it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, the marvelous one, Dan Marver, and, of course, the man on the street, Marty-B. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation, broadcasting from the studios of WCPT 820 AM in Jefferson Park. If you want to jump in and give us your prediction, your thoughts, as far as this Sunday night tilt between the the lowly Chicago Bears and the lowly Los Angeles Rams. The good thing about it for the Bears, I guess, is that it's 80 degrees, the temperature in Los Angeles.
Ooh.
80 degrees, because if you remember last year, the Bears beat the Rams on their way. The Bears beat the Rams on the Rams' way to the Super Bowl. It was one of the coldest days of the year.
We thought there was a big advantage for Chicago.
It certainly was a big advantage. What was the final? 15-6?
Yeah.
Yeah, 15-6. It was a big advantage because Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, those guys, they wanted to go back in the locker room. It was cold as heck. It was cold as heck. So some folks are saying it's a revenge match for the
Thanks, Dan.
the St. Louis Rams. What do you guys got your own show going on?
Yeah,
over
we got
there?
our own show. I'm filling Marty in with the latest.
No, do that on your own
okay,
time.
I will.
Man.
I will.
What's
okay.
wrong with you guys?
Don't worry. It's not porn.
What did I call them? Did I say?
You know what I want to see, Jerry?
Did I say St. Louis Rams? I mean Los Angeles Rams.
Before they were in Cleveland once too.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do my research on this, but one thing I really want to say before I forget totally about it. Tonight, I don't know how you gentlemen, the approach that you're going to take to viewing this game tonight, but here's what I want to see tonight. I want to see better footwork by our quarterback, and he's always criticized for his footwork in the pocket.
Right.
I want to see some improvement in his ability to read defenses. Now, it's about time he's starting to catch on with this.
Good luck.
Well, okay, that's two things. And also, I just want to see some more accurate passing, more of that, just having a real feel for where that receiver is and letting that ball go. And I just want to see some real accuracy.
I agree. I mean,
I don't want to see all these overthrows, underthrows.
Right.
I don't want to see that
None
anymore.
of us want to see that. None of us want to see that.
It was a while.
Jerry,
I mean,
you know, when I finally get to this, that even the man in the street's getting a little impatient.
that game last year was actually 15-6.
And I love Mitch. I'm a big Mitch Trubisky fan.
And last year's game, Goff had 44 attempted passes and Trubisky had 30. So it could be like that. I mean, I agree with you. He's got to air it out.
Well, the offensive line has to protect him, and he's got to be able to release that ball within 2.8, 2.5 seconds. If he holds it longer than that, Aaron Donald's definitely going to crunch him. There's no question about it.
And we won't have from last year is the leading rusher for the Bears, Jordan Howard, 101 yards.
Yeah, and he made a big difference. And Mike Tirico was on the local sports show earlier this week, and he said he believes that's the difference between some of the Bears' struggles, because Jordan Howard would take some of the pressure off of Mitchell Trubisky, and he'd just run the rock, up the gut, and that allowed the offense to use the other weapons that they were, using. And now with Jordan Howard gone, and you bring in David Montgomery, and he's still a question mark as far as this game is tonight. It's an advantage to defensive coordinators. And here's the deal: you talk about defensive coordinators. Wade Phillips is on the other side of the ball, right?
Yeah.
And our guys, Matt Nagy, he's talking about play calling and getting into a rhythm. He better be on top of his game.
He better be, because Wade Phillips can disrupt that game real quick.
Really, really quick. So
he's a guru, Jerry.
And he certainly is, Marty. And we see what veteran coaches have done to Matt Nagy and our Chicago Bears. John Gruden, Sean Payton. I mean, we've seen even Vic Fangio, despite the fact that he needed an Eddie Pinheiro field goal to win it. These veteran coaches, they know how to counter against Matt Nagy and his play calling.
Yes, they do. And our defensive group better go, from the word go, we just better go after that quarterback.
Well,
let's destroy him from the word go.
I certainly agree with you. Khalil Mack, he's been slumping. He's not even leading the team. He's not even leading the team in sacks.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right.
That player came in last week. Oh, I'm sorry, Dan.
Now they don't have Trevathan either, So,
but the player came in last week, and Marvel's had that marvelous game. Let's hope he does it again.
Nick Kwiatkowski.
Yeah.
Nick Kwiatkowski.
Kwiatkowski.
I think he's looking forward to having a big game. I certainly do. Hey, let's go out to Los Angeles.
All right.
We got our TRS60 correspondent on our TRS60 hotline. He's a good friend of the program. I love this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. It's Jimmy Bliss. How are you, Jimmy? He said. Jimmy! Do we have him? I think Devin Tingle, our producer, is doing a great job. He's going to have to come in here and kind of get us all orchestrated. But if you want to...
Well, we're talking about that. I was going to mention Ryan Nall. it could be a key today, Jerry, for the Bears as a backup running back.
Yeah, well.
I mean, not that he's great, but he might be all they have.
Jimmy Bliss, how are you? Welcome to the program.
Hey, I'm doing excellent. We're out here, Jerry. We're out here. We're out showing these fans.
Yeah, paint a picture for us as far as this pregame is concerned. You're out in Los Angeles. Are you actually tailgating, or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm tailgating here at Lot 5 in the world-famous L.A. Memorial Coliseum. I believe this is the first time they played in years. I believe the 60s or 70s, maybe the last time, because, of course, they're building the Hollywood Park Stadium that was completed in 2020. But this is, it's very packed here. Everyone's having a good time. I'm seeing a lot of Bears fans out here, Jerry. A lot of people travel out here. I mean, it's a Sunday night game. Why not, It's a wild card matchup.
No, that's and you're absolutely right. It's been quite some time since the Bears played out there. But a lot of fans are out there as far as Chicagoans are concerned. What's the buzz? Is there, because it's two, hey, Jimmy Bliss, these are two tough teams. This is going to be I think it's going to be a very low-scoring football game, and I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. But these are two lowly teams. They all almost mirror themselves. What's the buzz out there, before the tip-off?
Yeah, the over-under is pretty low. Last I checked, it's about 40 points. I think they're turning it down to 30. I mean, the Rams are favored by 6 points. But here's the deal. We got to stop Aaron Donald. That's the way we win.
Right.
Because Aaron Donald, he's the mirror of Khalil Mack. I mean, and we know from last week, Mr. Trubisky, when he's got protection, he can ball. But we got to take care of that pass rush. So that's what we got to do here. And, I think we have our support. Like as Matt Nagy says, when we show up, it really encourages the team, and we're out here. I mean, Jerry, it's 80 degrees. I'm wearing a Mike Dick sweater vest in 80-degree weather here.
I saw that.
I've had literally 8 requests to get pictures. They love it out here.
I saw it, Jimmy Bliss.
I'm going to be up some of the Instagrams, they love the Mike Dick costume, and, all my friends flatter me, like, are you wearing sweater vest in 80-degree weather? Well, hey. I'll tell you why, because we'll be more popular than you, and here we are.
Hey, Jimmy Bliss, I love the picture. You got the sweater on, you got the sunglasses on, you got the mustache going. I love you representing Chicago and representing the coach. It's a fabulous look. But you're absolutely right, Aaron Donald. This offensive line for the Chicago Bears, I think they're going to have their work cut out for them. And Mitchell Trubisky, he's going to have to be smart. Here's the deal. He's got to be smart with the plays that are being called for him. And he cannot sit back there and try to lock in on Allen Robinson or just one particular receiver. He's got to, and I don't know if he can do his checkdowns. Marty-B, the man on the street, believes he can do his checkdowns. But it's going to be very important with the play calling from Matt Nagy coming in and the execution of Mitchell Trubisky. How do you see this outcome? Again, you said that the Rams are favored. I think the line is 6.5. Do you see the Bears going out west at 80-degree temperature and coming away with the victory? Or is it payback regarding the Rams and their disappointing defeat last year here in Soldier Field?
Yeah, you said it, partner. It's the weather that's working against us. Because you remember from last year when the Rams played the Bears, I think the Rams they might have been favored to win. They're 11-1. But the cold weather's what got to them. I think Jared Goff threw 4 picks in that last game. Mitchell Trubisky threw 3. Now, I mean, it's boiling hot in the middle of November. No one could expect this. But I think the warm West Coast weather is working against the Bears here. And, I think the key to their success is, they just got to stick to the plan of, they got to run in that strong I formation with the fullback blocking for them. They set up the play action, and they'll get some plays.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy Bliss. Do you think you can get over there in the Bears locker room and lock Nagy up in a locker room and you coach this basement football team?
Yeah, right. I'm here to bring us back to 500. Like, everyone's like, Coach Dick, let me get a picture. Like, they love it. And like, yeah, I'm sweating bullets here, but it's worth it because I'm dressed up like a coach here. Let's go.
Well, you know what? You make more sense than our coach has been making over the past couple of weeks. But I agree with you. Again, it's got to be very, very good play calling on his behalf, and it's got to be excellent execution on Mitchell Trubisky's half, because if it's not, it's going to be a long afternoon for the Bears. Hey, anything else before we let you go, Jimmy Bliss? How's everything going otherwise out there?
I will say I'm part of the very unpopular bandwagon that it's not all Mitchell Trubisky's fault. Like you said, a lot of people blame the quarterback. I mean, this is Bears football. It's easy to blame the quarterback. But like you said, it's play calling, it's execution, it's defensive performance. It's about us not dropping. By the way, the Bears have the highest percentage of drop passes. We just got to get him in the rhythm and our defense perform. Stop Aaron Donald. We'll come over the win. We'll go 500. We're in the wild card race, brother.
Well, they blame the quarterback because he's a quarterback, but in this case, I disagree with you. This guy's pretty tough. He's pretty tough.
Hey, fair enough. Hey, you and the rest of the world, yeah. Hey, listen, we could have gotten Mahomes or Boston, but yeah.
Yeah.
I have a Mitchell Trubisky, but we'll see. Well, if we know we can have competent games. I mean, he's a forward quarterback last year, but we'll see.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
we do have options for Cam Newton and Colin Kaepernick. So
yeah,
I like that faith.
Do you think Colin will get an opportunity to play in the league again?
I doubt it. I think it's just hearsay by now. But I think if the year goes south, I think the organization will be looking at other options for the quarterback position.
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy, we're short on time. This is the fastest hour in sports conversation. Thank you so very much for taking time to join us on the Rewind Sports 60, and we'll talk to you down the road, okay?
Of course, Jerry. Bear down.
Bear down. You're the best. Jimmy Bliss out in California, pregame tailgating.
Isn't that terrible when you have a little noise in the background? Inside joke. I was going to tell you, this is the first time they played in the Coliseum since '76, and you know why? Because they moved to Anaheim in 1980.
Right.
The quarterbacks for LA was Ron Jaworski that day, and for the Bears, Bob Avellini, just to tell you how long it's been.
My good friend, Bob Avellini. Did I tell you I played football with Bob Avellini over at Robert Crown in Evanston?
No.
And he overthrew me, too. I love you, Bobby. I love you. Folks, if you want to jump in, just like Jimmy Bliss, feel free to give us a ring. The number here is 773-763-WCPT, 773-763-9278. Some numbers real quick as far as the Bears leaders and the Rams leaders are concerned. Bears leaders on offense, Mitchell Trubisky, 1,390 passing yards with 8 touchdowns and 3 INTs. Running back David Montgomery, 599 total yards with 5 touchdowns. Wide receiver Allen Robinson, 618 receiving yards with 3 touchdowns. As far as the Rams leaders are concerned on offense, Jared Goff, 2,610 passing yards for 11 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Todd Gurley, 509 yards with 7 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp, the wide receiver, 792 receiving yards with 5 touchdowns. And tight end Gerald Everett, 365 receiving yards with 2 touchdowns. And the Bears better be happy and a little bit relieved that Todd Gurley is struggling the way that he is based on his hampered knee. So, because if he was 100% healthy, it may be a long afternoon for the Bears defense.
Yeah, that Cooper Kupp has really been getting a lot of receptions for the Rams this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has over 50 receptions altogether. I think 58. So, I mean, that's almost a record-setting pace. So, you got to watch out for him. And, I was thinking about this. It's too early for the Sunday night game to be flexed out. but I bet you NBC might have had some other choices, Eagles, Patriots or something instead of the Bears Rams. But we'll see. They'll probably get good ratings because of the 2 large media markets.
Yeah.
I want to see the Bears tonight. Our defense just to be dominant from start to finish.
I think all Bear fans would like to see that, Marty. I think we all would like to see that.
And we have the capability, even though we got a couple of key players out. Granted.
Yeah.
But still in all.
Yeah, you just want to see a good, sound football game being played. And obviously, as the old cliche goes, turnovers decide the outcome of games. And so whoever, can eliminate turnovers, whether they're fumbling the ball or throwing interceptions or whatever, it looks like in this football game, that team should come away as a victor.
Mm-hmm. Very definitely. And turnovers used to be our key word. Let's make it happen again.
Yeah, we've been struggling for sure.
Yeah, we thought it would be a high-scoring game last year at Soldier Field, and that's the anticipation this year. But I think the Bears are better off if it isn't again.
Yeah. Well, again, Mitchell Trubisky, they got to protect the ball. They certainly got to protect it. And again, Matt Nagy's got to call a heck of a He's got to call a heck of a game. Mm-hmm. He's got to put the team in the right position. He's got to make the right decisions at the right time to get the most out of this team.
And he's got to get it so that the field goal's in the right hash mark, too.
Yeah, exactly.
and Matt, Coach
let's hope it doesn't come down to that.
Coach Nagy has the capability of being exactly that, and I want to see him shine tonight.
You think he has the capability?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
What's he taking? What's he waiting for? Christmas?
Well, he's been derailed for a couple of reasons.
That's a mild way of putting it. He certainly has been derailed, that's for sure.
Just like I know we're talking football, but I am a little concerned about our Bulls coach now. He seems a little unsteady.
Yeah, well
I wish they still had Hoiberg myself.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know.
He's going to do great at Nebraska.
No.
I think.
At this point, I probably would take Tim Floyd and Scott Skiles. And I like Jimmy Boylan. I like him.
Oh, I know you do, Jerry. He looks like a fine man. He's very sincere.
Yeah, but you don't need sincerity on this team. You need some cojones. Okay. You need to go start pushing some people around. You need to. Here's the deal.
Yeah, I want to hear your thought on this.
The Bulls, when teams are, in my opinion, when teams are game planning against the Bulls, only thing they say is, "Hey, you know what? Hit the paint. Hit the paint." I think last night they were outscored in the paint, like 56 points in the paint to I think somewhere like 30. The other night, Thursday night, when they went up to Milwaukee to take on the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, they almost doubled. I think they had 70 points in the paint to the Bulls' 35. So teams are saying, you know what? They don't have any real inside presence. So big men, and Wendell Carter Jr. is doing the best he possibly can. He is.
He's a fine player.
He's a decent player. He's still, as they say, developing and growing in this next level in the National Basketball Association. And teams are exploiting the weaknesses of the Bulls defensively. Their transition game is not up to par. Their fast break points it's almost ridiculous. And so, and the thing about what Jim Boylan is saying is that we're going to stay the course. He said it last night. I mean, some of the reporters asked, hey, listen, are you going to change some things up? Because it seems like what you have in place is not really working. Or are you going to stick to the program? And he's like, hey, we're going to stick to the program. And as long as they stick to the program, teams are going to exploit them and take advantage of them, and they're going to continue to lose.
Yeah, I'm sure that he is a fine coach. I mean, I just like to look at people's record. I mean, he was a college coach, had an overall record of 69-60 as a college coach. So, I mean, that's not that impressive. And he's been an assistant quite a number of years, Bulls, Spurs, Pacers, etc. So, I mean, he's well qualified. It's just that I don't know that he's the guy that's going to bring him to the promised land.
Yeah, and you know, I admire the fact that I don't understand it, but I admire the fact that John Paxson and Gar Forman say, hey, you know what? This is our guy. Because evidently, Marvelous, they see something in him. Mm-hmm. They see something in him that they believe he can get the most and the best out of these players and get this team back to respectability. But to name him they didn't even give him the interim tag. They just say, hey, you're our new guy. And then they give him a contract extension.
Mm-hmm. That's what kind of confidence they have in him.
Yeah, but we've seen the confidence that they've had in previous head coaches.
Let's just hope, Jerry, that it's justified.
Well, you know what? Here's the deal. Chicago fans aren't ready. They don't have time, any patience for justified. They want to see. Listen, I call them the Killer Bees. The Killer Bees here in Chicago, the Bulls, the Blackhawks, and the Bears. They're killing their fan base. We're losing our minds, Marty. We don't have time to be sitting around waiting, twiddling our thumbs. These fans here in Chicago, we're dedicated, we're loyal. Those fans that go out to these they go to the Soldier Field, they go over to the United Center, they're spending their hard-earned money. They're spending their money to watch a product that's subpar. They're the Killer Bees. They're killing everybody's spirit. They really are. And I hope that these teams, I hope they can turn it around. But right now, it's not looking too good, Marty.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have to agree with you, Jerry, and I have my own thoughts on this, but it's probably, I would be totally in the minority of any sports fan everywhere. But that's just my opinion.
I mean, you're optimistic, and I love that.
Thank you, Jerry. And I'm probably overly sometimes. I just feel that, I just get such enjoyment out of going to a game and watching the athletes perform. If we win, wonderful, and I'm rooting for us to win. But if we don't, haven't you had a nice day? Haven't you had a nice evening?
And I'm pragmatic.
Is that so wrong to have that viewpoint?
These guys these professional athletes still get paid a lot of money whether they win or not.
Yeah,
I mean, so that's part of it. That's why I kind of like college sports, to be honest with you.
Well,
and they're going to be paid soon too.
That's going to be changing too.
Yeah, right.
Let's keep prep sports.
Marty.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
You know what? Tom Hanks is playing Mr. Rogers. The movie is out. If you want that type of lifestyle, go to the movies and watch that. But fans in Chicago, these blue-collar, hard-working, grinding fans, lunch bucket, hard hat-wearing fans, they don't want this all soft and fuzzy and cuddly. No, they want to win. Mm-hmm. They want to win.
And unfortunately,
and I have to accept, and I do accept that.
And unfortunately, in every sport, only one team wins their final game of the year. You know, and so it's tough. I mean, the Bulls. I mean, they had that great run, and we'll never see that again. I'm afraid.
Well, here's the deal, Marvelous One. Again, Chicago fans we're loyal, we're dedicated, and we support our teams. But you don't reflect the personality of the fan in Chicago. When you go out and you just play like crap, you're not prepared. Right. You're not fighting hard. Remember the Bears back in the 70s? They stunk. They sucked. They were no good. But Abe Gibron, he had those guys were fighting. They were Doug Buffon and Dick Butkus and Virgil Livers and Allen Ellis, and they were fighting. Those guys would tooth and nail. They would just scrap and fight, and Chicagoans loved that. Chicago supported that. They didn't let somebody they weren't acting like traffic cops.
Sure.
Hey, just go on by me.
I mean, it's like over the years, the middle linebackers sort of been the position. Bill George, Butkus, going down the list.
He'd chew your ankle off if you had a chance.
Yeah. And so if those teams lost, and they did, the Chicago Bulls, Norm Van Leer, Jerry Sloan, those Bob Love, those they fought, literally.
Right.
Literally. And we love those teams. The Blackhawks back in the 70s. Mm-hmm. We love those guys because they represented the city of Chicago. If they didn't win, opponents knew that they were going to be in a fight. They knew they were going to be in a fight. Mm-hmm. These teams today, representing Chicago, teams, they look at their schedule and they go, we got the Hawks, we got the Bears, we got the Bulls. It's a win.
I'm telling you. Part of it's
of late, we have been, to say the least, lackluster.
Yeah, part of it's the money. I'm not kidding. I really mean that. They make the salary whether they win or lose.
Well, how come other teams around the country
they get better players?
Hey, LeBron James and the Lakers, they didn't pay
better players,
and they're busting their tails. They're working their tails off. The Golden State Warriors, prior to this train wreck of injuries, busted their tails.
Better players, better coaching.
What's wrong with us?
Better management. I don't know.
It's the fastest hour in sports conversation. Thanks to the Marvelous One, Dan Marver, and of course Marty-B, the man on the street. If you miss any portion of the broadcast, check us out on Facebook. You can go to YouTube and also our webpage, therewindsports60.com. Thanks to Jimmy Bliss joining us out on the left coast, and of course our producer Devin Tingle for knocking it down, and Gale Street Inn George and his entire staff over there for our Gale Street Inn Bears Sunday Live pregame show. Chicago Bears, Los Angeles Rams kicking off shortly. Hopefully they can come away with the victory. Take care, everybody.
The preceding program, The Rewind Sports 60, is sponsored by Jerry Riles.